Good morning, everyone. We have breaking news at 4 a.m. Powerful tornadoes hit north central Illinois, crushing the tiny community of Fairdale. One woman is dead and several other people are injured.
I would say probably 95% of the town is gone.
This morning, stories of survival and heartbreak in a special 4 a.m. edition of NBC5 News Today.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning at 4 a.m. I'm Stephen Holt.
And I'm Lauren Petty, sitting in for Zoraida Samblin, who you can see is field anchoring our expanded team coverage from Fairdale, Illinois, the area hardest hit. Zoraida, we can see some of that devastation behind you.
Oh, it's just awful, Lauren. As we were driving up here, we hit Route 72, which is here right by Main Street. And if you look behind me, this is what you see from the minute that you drive up Route 72. It is total devastation. This is a very, very tiny community. It's only about 200 residents in this town. It is 80 miles west of Chicago. Sadly, Stephen and Lauren, we have confirmation of a 67-year-old woman who has died. And as you mentioned earlier, there are some injuries. We understand at least 7 injuries. We're trying to get more details on that as well. But, sadly, there may be 50 or 60 structures, they were saying, in this town, and this is what everything looks like. Behind me, this looks like maybe it was a place of business, and it's decimated. I did find some toys amongst all of the rubble here. We're going to continue to take a look at all of the devastation here. We're going to talk to the fire chief and bring you all of the latest details. In the meantime, let's check in with Andy. It's very windy out here this morning and quite cold, Andy.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Zoraida. I was about to say the severe threat has come and gone, but now powerful winds are still blowing throughout the metro area. In fact, we do have a wind advisory that's still in effect for the time being. Those winds are quite strong, but it's just been dropped by the Weather Service, so it was in effect till 4 o'clock, but they have just dropped that now. Doesn't mean the wind isn't still quite strong. It is. But as you look at the radar this morning, here's kind of a little graphical path of the tornado in the 2-hour window that occurred from 6:05. You can see it all the way down to the far south just of Dixon. Then it pushed northeastward, racing along through that 2-hour period, eventually going through the Fairdale area and Kirkland, then working its way all the way into northern Lake County before dissipating. So a devastating storm. We'll have coverage on that all morning long. The big story, though, out the door this morning for the rest of us, it is a windy start to the day, as we saw in that live shot with Zoraida. These are wind gusts from 35 to 40 miles an hour, so it is quite windy out there this morning. And as she alluded to, it is quite chilly as well, as temperatures continue to fall into the upper 30s to the far north and west. You see it's 39 in DeKalb this morning. For the rest of us, the low to mid 40s. We'll take a closer look at the forecast today, which will be considerably quieter. Here's Stephen and Lauren.
Thank you very much, Andy Galvalos. Time now 4:02. Our breaking news coverage continues with a closer look at the devastation this morning.
There is massive storm and tornado damage throughout north central Illinois. Let's go back now to Zoraida, who's anchoring from the close-knit community of Fairdale, that is in DeKalb County. Zoraida.
And it is a very, very small community, only about 200 residents, and it really is decimated. It's surprising, really, when you know that there is only one fatality here, a 67-year-old woman who died. I'm going to get out of the way so that you can see this. Behind me, it looks like maybe this was a place of business. You can see some machinery there to the left, this big yellow piece of equipment. And also, if you can see here, the cars are tagged already. And so, we're assuming that means that these areas have already been searched. I have some video to share with you, and it was video that was at the height of this storm. It really, I'll tell you that Andy's warnings, and they've been, for several days now talking about all of the tornadoes that we're going to hit, probably save some lives in this area, because as you walk through and you see that, of 50 to 60 structures in this town, every single structure has been affected in some way. And we know that there's just one fatality, and any life lost is terrible, but probably the warnings ended up saving lives. 6 to 7 injuries so far. And the fire chief actually spoke just a little while ago, because they've been working around the clock. There's a huge police presence here. This is what he had to say.
At this time, we can confirm that we've had 7 people transported to local facilities with injuries of varying extents. We do expect that number that will go up slightly due to people self-transporting or reporting injuries later. And unfortunately, we can confirm that we have 1 fatality as a result of this incident. There's approximately 50 structures in that community. Every one of them had sustained some sort of damage. Some from total devastation to others with broken windows or perhaps some roof issues.
You know, there's another community not too far from here. It's called Kirkland, and they also sustained some damage. And I know that they have been also working through the night trying to see if they can find any survivors amongst the rubble. We're checking on that. We're going to bring you the latest on that as well. And also in Rochelle, apparently there were some people trapped during the height of the storm. And I know that Phil Rogers is working on that, so we're going to bring that to you as well. We're also going to talk to the fire chief here and bring you the very latest on this community, how they're surviving. The Red Cross is supposed to be in the area. So we're going to continue working all of that for you. In the meantime, we'll toss it back to you, Stefan.
All right, Zoraida, thank you very much. We do have a lot of damage in the Rochelle area as well. We do have Phil Rogers on the phone for us right now. Phil, what are you seeing in Rochelle?
Well, I can tell you that it's very, very difficult to get around here. We've been here now for some time, since way before 3 a.m. And one of the reasons you got me on the telephone right now is just because of the impassability of many of these roads. And of course, one of the hardest hit places here in Rochelle is the restaurant Grub Stakers. It's very well known here in town. Been here since the 40s. Some people were coming here every day to eat breakfast or maybe their evening meal. But now it's been reduced to a pile of rubble after the tornado ripped through it last night. 12 people were at the restaurant for dinner around 6 o'clock when the tornado hit. They were forced to find shelter in the basement. They were stuck there for about an hour and a half before crews could arrive. One woman told us what she went through as that tornado went through.
I was watching everything, and I heard somebody say, that it was turning, that it was spinning. So when I looked out the window and I saw it, and it was huge. It was huge, and it was coming right for us.
Well, it was a pretty amazing rescue. As we cut away to get into the basement, we had to shore it up to make sure we didn't have any more cave-ins, make sure our guys going down were going to be safe.
Now, officials say there were a few minor injuries among the restaurant patrons, but miraculously, no one was seriously hurt. The rescue crews, again, had to dig down through the rubble, shore up that basement to get those folks out. Some of the people in the restaurant lost their cars, and the workers, of course, are unemployed for the time being, but all of them say they're very, very thankful to be alive. Now, at first light here, as is always the case with the tornado, that's when they'll be able to survey the damage out here, get a good handle on exactly what they're dealing with. For the most part, here in Rochelle, they've just battened down the hatches overnight. In fact, we're now at the incident command post, and we'll be showing that to you live here in the next half hour. For now, live in Rochelle, Phil Rogers, NBC 5 News.
Phil, our thanks to you. The recovery, again, just beginning there as well.
Waiting for the sun to come up to get a better look at the damage, as Phil just said there. Meantime, the tornado damage is extensive at the Summerfield Zoo in Belvedere, just east of Rockford. A Facebook post on the zoo page suggests there may be about $20,000 in damage. Many of the zoo's buildings are expected to be written off as a complete loss. 2 animals died in the storm. The zoo is now asking for donated supplies and fencing and volunteers. They can show up to help starting at 8 o'clock this morning. Salvation
Army crews are on the scene as well in northern Illinois. They're providing food, snacks, and water to the victims. Also, first responders and emergency crews. You can donate to the cause at salarmychicago.org. You can see that on your screen, or you can call the number 1-800-SAL-ARMY.
Picture of that wedge tornado, horrible to watch there.
For more of these incredible videos of the tornadoes, a lot of people had their cell phones out. Hopefully they were safe while they were doing that. That is what's most important. But we do have cell phone videos as well as the latest on the recovery efforts. Be sure to download our NBC Chicago app.
This morning you're watching a special early edition of the NBC 5 News Today. All morning we will be following this breaking news on those deadly tornadoes.
This is what residents in north central Illinois saw heading towards them. Again, another one of these cell phone videos of the tornado. We're going to go back live to the areas hit the hardest right after this break.